Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. And this week's Nipoi banner and press is dated Friday, April the 16th. And on the front page, there's a beautiful picture of a white owl. How's the weather up there? This owl was spotted by Nipoi banner and press photographer Diane Warner on Wednesday, March 31st. The large bird was found in the RM of Glenella, Lansdowne. And next we have the Nipoi Town Council news. Tuesday, April 6th, 2021. The Yellowhead Bow Hunters Association consulted with the council regarding their property lease, which has been affected by beaver-related damages. Representative Adam Lucan noted that at the time of the presentation, 4 beavers were removed from the property. It is suspected that there are 2 more to trap. The group is working to remediate the problem and evaluate the amount of damage caused. The bow hunters also expressed concerns over water discharged by High Life through the area to the White Mud River, which becomes an attraction for beavers. Councillor Murray Parrott asked the public to be aware that as vaccination programs roll out, there is a risk of shortage that may result in either the cancellation or postponement of appointments at the pop-up vaccination clinics. There were no known cancellations or postponements for the Nipoi pop-up clinic at the time of the meeting. The renovation of the clinic's light therapy room has also been completed. Councillor Marika Kostenchuk delivered a brief regarding the Nipoi and Area Disabled Persons Association. Impacts from COVID-19 have resulted in a year-end deficit of $25,200.86 for the handy van. Kostenchuk noted just how much of an impact the pandemic has had, stating the user fees, the actual revenue from 2019, is $53,331.13, and in 2020 our user fees were $16,283. The municipal partners were approached for recovery assistance. Assistance percentages have been amended for each partner, making Nipoi 60%, formerly 68%, Rosedale 16%, unchanged, North Cypress Langford 12%, formerly 10%, and Glenella Lansdowne 12%, formerly 6%. And Denny Sagay notified council that spring compost pickup is set to begin May the 3rd, 2021. All residents participating in the compost pickup must ensure the use of compostable bags. Non-compostable bags will not be picked up. Sagay completed an inspection of the multi-use trail park and confirmed that it is ready for use. Those using the park were asked to avoid any wet areas that have not yet dried out in order to minimize damage to the trails. And next we have a picture of pharmacist Jackie Pollock giving Edith Burnside her first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, April the 9th at Harris Pharmacy in Nipoi. Nipoi's Harris Pharmacy became a key component in the fight against COVID-19 last week. On Tuesday, April 6th, they received 100 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and they began immunizing patients last Friday. Heather Toderick, pharmacist and owner of Harris Pharmacy, noted that they called a number of their customers who they'd identified as priority based on the current provincial eligibility criteria. They also got calls from eligible people looking to book appointments, but it wasn't a massive wave of calls like some locations have experienced. On Friday, they had 55 appointments booked, with about 35 more to follow on Saturday. On Friday, Toderick said they still had about 30 doses that were not spoken for. Another set of appointments were booked for Monday and Tuesday, which used up the rest of their supply. Edith Burnside, a Nipoi resident who received her shot at Harris Pharmacy on Friday, said that she feels relieved to have been able to get the process started on protecting herself from COVID-19. Toderick noted that she believes there has been some hesitancy around getting the AstraZeneca vaccine because of reports of its side effects and the changes around eligibility for that particular vaccine. However, she added that the doctors are continuing to put out the message that it is safe and that people should not hesitate to get the AstraZeneca vaccine if they feel they would benefit from it. And next we have Rock in the Fields of Minnedosa, postponed again to 2022. The sounds of classic rock have been put on pause. An announcement put out by Rock in the Fields of Minnedosa, or RFM, via media release on April the 9th has confirmed that the 2021 event will be postponed to 2022. This is the second postponement since the COVID-19 pandemic began, leaving fans to wait at least one more year before they can get back to rocking out during the summer's long weekend. We continue to consult with government authorities, but restrictions and suggested summer guidelines for events in Manitoba are making the planning of the 2021 festival, which was originally scheduled for July 30th to August 1st, difficult, if not impossible, said Al Logan, president of RFM, in the release. Logan added the safety and comfort level of our patrons, volunteers, artists, and staff are some of the driving factors behind the postponement. RFM noted that the event's promoter, Rob Wallaschuk of Performance Promotions, has been juggling artists and schedules since the onset of COVID-19 last year. It's been a challenging time for the music industry, he said, but we are overwhelmed by the support of patrons and the local community, which will just make 2022 that much more of a success. The 2022 RFM event is slated for July 29th to the 31st, with Our Lady Peace confirmed to perform. The RFM expects more lineup details to be released in the coming months. The RFM has emphasized that all tickets purchased for the 2020-21 event will have their ticket validity roll over to 2022. Current ticket purchasers will be contacted with information regarding the rollover, as well as exclusive incentives for the ticket holders. Refund options will also be presented that ticket holders may pursue if they do not wish to keep their ticket. Rockfest fans are asked to keep an eye out for further information regarding the event's rescheduling and ticket options via the group's website at www.rockinthefields.ca. And another article about Minnedosa, Splish Splash Water Park planning 2021 season. Area residents can tentatively prepare to do some splishing and splashing this summer. Jerry Champagne, president of Splish Splash Water Park, has confirmed that as of right now, the Minnedosa swimming attraction is definitely opening this summer. If COVID-19 changes our path, we will deal with it then, said Champagne. Last season, we opened to 50% capacity, so we are trained to do it again if that's what Manitoba Health Services dictates. We will follow whatever guidelines they set for us. The water park is scheduled to open around June the 26th with health and safety precautions. These measures include spraying the park for cleaning daily, sanitizing life jackets after each use, sanitizing the washroom several times a day, and providing sanitizer for guests. Guests will also be asked to maintain social distance to ensure the safety of all those at the water park. Splish Splash is also planning a couple of new attractions this year that prospective guests may enjoy. We're bringing in a hamster wheel for the park, said Champagne, as well as providing a professional launcher every Friday evening. Champagne noted that there is also a need for end-season lifeguards, as some currently hired will be leaving for university at that time. Last year, a few lifeguards from the Nipoi pool filled in at the end of the season, and it was a great help. Splish Splash looks forward to seeing everyone at the Minnedosa Beach this summer. I think I'll go to the next one. There's a picture here, History with the Beautiful Plains Museum. This photo provides a small snapshot of Arden from approximately 1920. Pictured are Arden's old RBC Bank and the Arden Meat Market. Not much could be found out about the market building. However, an ad was found in a digital copy of the December 17, 1891 edition of the Gladstone Times. The ad reads, Arden Meat Market, game, fowl, beef, mutton, vegetables, and everything that is kept in a first-class butcher shop. Give us a trial, by George Jacobsen of Arden. Out of Helen Drysdale's kitchen. This week it is entitled Saint Madeleine. In 1870, when the district of Assiniboia entered the Canadian Federation as the province of Manitoba, Section 31 of the Manitoba Act guaranteed that the Métis would receive the title for the land that they already farmed, and in addition they would receive 1.4 million acres of farmland for the use of their children. Delays in gaining possession of the land promised them many new immigrants coming and sometimes settling on their land, the disrespect shown the Métis and their way of life, and a new government unfamiliar to them drove the Métis out of their Red River home. Many moved further west, seeking sanctuary with their own peoples. Their new homelands were often located on poor scrub land rejected by immigrant groups searching for prime land. One such place was St. Madeleine. After leaving the Red River settlement, some Métis homesteaded the land at St. Madeleine, which is north of St. Lazare and the nearby Pumpkin Plains. The sandy soil there provided a poor livelihood, but offered independence. They referred to themselves as Ka Tip Im Su Chik, or the people who own themselves. Cattle and horses were raised, cord wood cut for sale, Seneca root dug and sold, furs trapped for sale, and some of the men worked as farmlands hands for the nearby white settlers. This community of around 300 people was a happy, family-centered, music-loving one. Along came the 1930s, and with it drought and soil erosion. The Federal Prairie Farm Rehabilitation Act, known as PFRA, was designed to fix what agriculturalists saw as an ongoing problem of too many prairie farms with submarginal land better suited for pasture development. The area of St. Madeleine was one such area. The federal government did not send bureaucrats to talk to the Métis people living there. They sent out two representatives of the town of St. Lazare, John Selby and Ben Fouillard, who came to tell people that they would have to leave their homes. Due to the Depression, few families had their taxes paid. All the people with unpaid taxes, which was the majority, were not to be compensated for their land. Their homes were burned with most of their possessions. Their well-trained working dogs were shot. Their church was dismantled and the logs sold to build a pig farm. The priest from St. Lazare sold the church bell and religious statues. The money was used to help build another church at St. Lazare. By 1938, the once vital community had vanished. After their village was burned, some families went to nearby towns with nothing but the clothes on their backs. Others became squatters on road allowances, building shanties. One such squatters' settlement was located near Binsgarth, called the Corner, but the Métis sarcastically named it Fouillard Corner, and another road allowance community to the south of this was called Selby Town, after the municipal officials who organized the Métis removal. They continued, as they always had, to pick berries, grow gardens, trap and hunt game, and work out to feed their families. In 1939, laws were put in place making it illegal for the Métis to hunt and trap out of season and without a license. Many Métis went to jail or paid fines for hunting out of season to feed their families. Road allowance Métis also lacked educational opportunities because children were not allowed to go to school if their parents did not pay property taxes. Many Métis were unable to receive a basic education for many years. They lived in a discriminatory society that valued the cattle which grazed their land over the Métis. This shameful story and others were not told in the mainstream history books. You will not find this story in the 1983 Ellis Municipality book or other books. They were told by the people themselves in their tradition of spoken history. There are many other Métis communities where the people were relocated to other sites without the Métis desire to leave where they were legally situated. The cemetery at the former community of St. Madeleine in the rural municipality of Alice Archie contains a memorial kiosk built in 2016 with the missing bell returned to its rightful home. Soups were a staple in the Métis homes. There was always a pot of soup simmering on the back of the stove and a pot of tea made always ready for family and visitors. And Helen has a meatball soup recipe underneath her article to serve with bannock. Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacobsen. During the week of April 5th to April 11th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 67 police activities. On April the 5th, RCMP received an animal complaint in Nipoi and conducted proactive traffic enforcement, engaging with several motorists. On April 6th, RCMP responded to a report of an assault in Minnedosa. The matter is still under investigation. People received a report of a person failing to comply with a court-ordered condition in Clan William and again later in Minnedosa. 2 people were charged as a result and were released with a future court date. On April 7th, RCMP received a stolen phone report in Nipoi. The victim declined further police investigation. Police conducted a COVID compliance check in the RM of North Cypress Langford. All persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. Police responded to a residential alarm in Clan William, which was cancelled shortly after by the property rep. On April 8th, RCMP responded to a report of an erratic driver in the municipality of Harrison Park. The suspect vehicle was located, stopped, and given a warning. Police assisted with a sudden death in the RM of North Cypress Langford, received a report of a hit and run to a vehicle in Nipoi, and a report of vandalism to a vehicle in Minnedosa. On April 9th, RCMP received a report of theft and a hit and run to a vehicle in Nipoi. There was insufficient evidence to proceed further in both matters. Police conducted a COVID compliance check in Gladstone, and all persons were found complying with regulations. Police responded a breach of peace report in Nipoi, and the issue was resolved without incident. April the 10th, RCMP responded to a report of theft in Gladstone. The matter is still under investigation. Police assisted with the family dispute in Gladstone that was resolved without incident. On April 11th, RCMP responded to 2 commercial alarms, one in the municipality of Westlake Gladstone and the other in Glenella. Both were determined to be false. Police received a report of theft in Nipoi, where there was insufficient evidence to proceed further. RCMP conducted 26 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting time. The next article is about the Nipoi Nursery School cutting funds. The education sector is facing another major change. Nursery schools in the province that are listed as Enhanced Nursery School, or ENS, will no longer receive funds under Manitoba's Enhanced Nursery School Operating Grant Model, cutting their funding in half. The model is being abolished for the coming school season onward, affecting 66 nursery schools in Manitoba. Of these 66 schools, Nipoi is included. As an ENS, we got extra funding from the government to be able to keep our fees lower to offer care to children in the community, especially those who have trouble paying, such as newcomers or low-funded families, explains Susan Toulouch, director of the Nipoi Nursery School, or NNS. Previously, the NNS was able to only charge $5 per class. Now, with the new ENS operating grant model gone, the NNS will now have to charge $10 per class starting this fall. It's double the fees, so that's going to be a blow to the parents. They'll be forced to come up with the extra fees if they still want their children to come to our program. We'll have to do a lot more fundraising as well. It's really going to depend on how many children we keep on getting. Expanding upon comment, Toulouch noted that funding is also based on enrollment. That means that due to COVID-19, this cut came at a time when ENSs were already receiving fewer funds. We're currently licensed to have 18 children per class, running sessions 2 times per day. With COVID, that number was dropped to 14 students per class, and we're running under the assumption that we'll have the same capacity limit for this coming season, said Toulouch. This year, due to the pandemic, we have 63 children enrolled, whereas last year we had 82. As an enhanced funding center, the NNS also did things that other nursery schools don't have to. This included offering to families that have lower incomes, whether they are newcomers or have lower funding for other reasons. This is something that Toulouch said the Nipoi nursery has always done, but especially in the latter years. Currently, 75% of NNS enrollment is newcomer families. Being an enhanced funding facility, the NNS had been using some of their funds for extra programming. We offer a play-based program that focuses on kindergarten readiness. We work closely with the school and with therapists in the area if children require therapy, so they can get prepared for kindergarten, Toulouch explained. We do a lot of English as a second language, teaching for newcomer families as well. The NNS director stressed that all nursery school centers are looking for more funding and feels that the province could have taken a different route that would benefit them all. Instead of cutting from the enhanced nursery schools, they should have brought the other centers up to giving them extra funding, or made all the spots at the $5 so it's more accessible to families, said Toulouch. The director also noted that she was part of a group of nursery school directors that wrote the province imploring them to repeal the change, stating, "We sent in a formal letter to the Premier and the Minister of Families on that, and our recommendation to instead of cutting funding from some centers to give every center the same opportunity and funding was turned down. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it's going. She added, "We're hoping that families will still see the value the nursery school program offers in our community." In addition to registrants preparing for higher fees this fall, parents should also be aware that registration will be a little different this year. Due to COVID-19, the NNS cannot have parents in the building while the children are there. Instead, the NNS will have a registration day on April the 23rd, where parents can come to the school from 9 to 4 to pick up a registration form. Alternatively, they can email the school via nipawaplaycenter@gmail.com. All forms must then be dropped off in person on April 27th between 6:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. New housing development on Neepawa's southwest side by Ken Waddell. As advertised in the Neepawa Banner and Press on April the 9th, Neepawa and Area Planning District Board will be holding a public hearing on April the 26th at 7:35 p.m. Under consideration will be a proposal for a large parcel of land locally known as the Chicken Barn land. The proposal calls for setting up some highway commercial areas south of and parallel to Veterans Way. South of that, there is proposed to be a number of lots for various kinds of residential housing. A few years ago, the water and sewer lines to the corner of PTH number 5 and Dominion Road were upgraded by the town of Nipoi to allow for potential development south of the highway. In the 1960s, Nipoi Area Development Corporation, or NADCO, was instrumental in buying the land and establishing Nipoi food processors' chicken barns on the site to provide birds for slaughter at the local processing plant. Swift's had a plant at the north end of Nipoi and had decided to close due to a lack of supply. NADCO worked hard to save the plant and get the barns built. For several decades, the barns produced broiler chickens, even long after the plant eventually closed. The land came under the ownership of a Mr. Tom Saucy of New Brunswick. After a few years, the chicken broiler quota was transferred to newer, more modern barns in the southeastern Manitoba. The Nipoi barns were gradually emptied out. The land was on the market for a few years and was then sold. The new owners, Danny and Ron Bray, arranged to clear some trees, remove the barns, and stockpile the concrete floor pieces. As can be seen from the concept drawing on this page, the development is substantial and will add many single-family, multi-family, and acreage housing lots over the coming years. NADCO is planning a development on the southwest corner of Nipoi, and in this picture, according to the proposal plan, the pink lots will be residential rural areas, the yellow will be residential single units, and the proposed plans, the small orange lots to the south will be residential mobile modular lots, and the brown lots will be residential multi-units. Steady progress continues on Kinsman Courts 2 construction. And there's a picture of it here. Drywall is going up inside this week with stucco going on the exterior in 2 weeks. The construction of Nipoi's new seniors apartment complex, Kinsman Courts 2, is coming along nicely. The 5-story structure is up and the majority of the walls are framed, with drywall going up this week. Grant Lucan, Kinsman Courts Board President, noted that they are planning to have the building finished and ready to move into by about October of this year. I'm happy with the timeline and how it's going, considering we had such a nice winter. They were able to work every week except for 1 week where it was extremely cold. It's a process. We're over the main stuff. The digging the basement, the footings, and all that stuff took a long time to do. Lucan added, every month you'll notice a big difference in here. Now that the drywall's starting to be going up, you'll notice a big difference. He noted that in a couple of weeks, people will be able to see a difference on the outside as well, with the stucco being applied in 2 weeks' time. The building will have 48 suites, said Lucan. And he said that they already have 37 applications from those interested in moving in. If there's anybody out there thinking about it, please get your application in, he said. All the suites are 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom with a kitchenette and living space. The sizes range from about 450 square feet to about 560 square feet. On the main floor, Kinsman Courts will house a dining room, which can seat up to 110 people. 3 meals a day from the dining room will be included in the rental package for residents. There will also be a multi-purpose room for activities and socializing. The basement houses space for personal services, including an exercise room, a hair salon, and private rooms for massage therapists and physiotherapists to use. Lucan said that they plan to have regular activities for the residents. He added that they hope to be able to purchase a van to offer day trips as well. It's going to be one big, happy family. Everybody will be able to go to, after COVID, of course, will be able to mingle together. The Kinsman Board is excited to be able to offer this to the community, Lucan shared. We've just been continually looking for something to put back in the community. Because the first building is paid off and it's making money, he explained. So instead of hoarding it in the bank, we wanted to put some more back into the community. And this was very well needed. Pop-up clinic in Nipoi gets shots in the arms of hundreds. And there's a picture of Lori Gilbert, Nipoi public health nurse and clinical lead for pop-up clinic, and Becky Saski, Nipoi pop-up clinic oversight manager. Nipoi's first COVID-19 vaccine pop-up clinic took place last Friday, adding 500 more people to the list of those who have received their first shots. The clinic was open from 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Yellowhead Center Hall on April the 9th, with all available appointments booked up. Glenda Short, the regional lead for community and continuing care in Prairie Mountain Health, said she's not sure just how quickly the appointments booked up, but she knows it did not take long. Short noted that the process went well at the pop-up clinic. It's been very smooth. People come in, you'll be greeted by someone just to verify that you have an appointment and that you have consent with you and that you have your health card. And then you meet a navigator that will screen you and ask you a few questions. Then you go in and get registered. There were 7 immunizers at the clinic to keep the appointments moving. Some people are having to sit for a couple of minutes until one of the immunizers is ready, but sometimes that goes even quicker, and they just come in and they're registered and they can go straight to get vaccinated, and then once they're vaccinated, they have to wait 15 minutes. For some people, they have to wait 30 minutes, and then after that, they're allowed to go home. Short noted that the province allocates a certain amount of vaccines for the Brandon Super Site, plus an additional amount for the Prairie Mountain Health Region as a whole, of which the Health Region is responsible for organizing the distribution. So then we decide where we're going to host a clinic. How big is that clinic going to be? She explained. The first time we started our pop-up clinic, we did smaller ones. So our first ones in Dauphin and Swan River, we only did 250 appointments, and then 350. And then last week and this week, we've moved up to 500 at each of our clinics. Prairie Mountain Health not only organizes their region's pop-up clinics, but Short added that they are also in charge of arranging the focused immunization teams, called FIT, that go to locations in the Prairie Mountain Health region. Our FIT teams go to the personal care homes, so all of our personal care home residents in Prairie Mountain have been vaccinated. They've received both of their doses. And then we've been doing our congregate setting, or elderly persons housing and assisted living. So we've done one large grouping of them, and some of them have received 2 doses. And then now we're just on the next rollout of those congregate settings as well. As of right now, there is no set date for another pop-up clinic in Nipoi, but Short said they're hoping to plan another in the future. We are looking to come back to Nipoi because it's been a great venue and great partnership with the community. Many pop-up clinics that were supposed to take place this week had to be postponed or canceled due to a delay in vaccine shipments. So updates on the needed shipments are required before more planning can take place. While updates on pop-up clinics are still coming, the super sites at Brandon, Winnipeg, Selkirk, Morden, and Thompson are still taking appointments. As of the banner and press print deadline, those eligible to receive vaccines at super sites and pop-up clinics are people aged 59 and older, or 37 and older for First Nations, as well as people 18 or older working in certain health care roles, care homes, congregate living settings, and home care. We just encourage people to come out and get vaccinated as soon as you're eligible, Short expressed. Sometimes there may be a wait, but we will be coming back to communities to try and make sure that we're more accessible for people. Fueling Manitoba's economy, submitted by Manitoba Pork. Enabling young people to have a future in the communities where they grew up is essential to rural development, and the pork sector is one of few sources of new job creation. New employment and growth, provided by increased investment in the sector, takes on many forms and provides for a wide variety of opportunity. From veterinarians to electricians, food production workers and transport drivers, 14,000 Manitobans depend on the pork sector for their livelihood. Over half of these employees are connected to processing, transportation, and related service businesses. Towns and cities across Manitoba have experienced a renaissance, with the presence of new immigrants, increasing demand on services and local businesses, spurring new activity and creating more jobs for both immigrants and locals. Hog farmers continue to be important and significant contributors to their communities, and new jobs and development ensures a legacy of growth for decades to come. To learn more, visit manitobapork.com/economy. Now for the section of Carberry, North Cypress, Langford. Prince Philip had Carberry connections, by Gladwin Scott. Queen Elizabeth II announced that her husband of 73 years, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, age 99, had passed away at Windsor Castle on April the 9th. The royal family made more than 20 visits to Canada, and 2 of the visits involved Carberry people. Some Carberry residents will recall the first visit to the T. Roy Bailey family farm for a one-day visit in 1970 to relax during Manitoba's centennial. The second visit was 2010, when the Queen and Prince Philip were in Winnipeg, and Government Representative Dwight McCauley invited T. Roy to join them at Government House. When Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip met the Carberry farmer at Government House, Philip shook hands with his left hand due to a polo accident, and his first comment was, "How is the potato crop, Roy?" After the reception, the Queen and Prince gave a big smile and hearty wave to T. Roy and his sons Brian and Doug as their entourage left the legislature grounds. T. Roy Bailey, who was a legendary Carberry citizen as a successful farmer, United Church Choir member and supporter, reeve and philanthropist, passed away in 2011 at 95 years of age. Prince Philip's funeral will be held at Windsor Castle Saturday, April 17th at 3 p.m. with limited attendance. And this is the other time that they visited Carberry. The year was 1970 and the dates were July 12th and 13th. The occasion was Manitoba's centennial within Confederation. To help celebrate that milestone of our history, Queen Elizabeth, Prince Philip, Princess Anne, and Prince Charles spent a week in Manitoba. Much of their time was taken up with formal events in Manitoba's major centres. At the request of Her Majesty, the royal family had an opportunity to relax and unwind away from the media, doing what they like to do best, ride horses. On a typically hot day in July, they paid a visit to the Bailey farm, where they saw the farming operation from their favorite vantage point aboard purebred horses on loan from the RCMP musical ride. Roy, the tour guide, and Staff Sergeant Cave of the RCMP accompanied them on the ride. They concluded their visit with a garden party in the Bailey yard, where they socialized with Roy, Nora, and family. At the request of Prince Philip, a family portrait was taken of the two families by the Queen's private secretary, Sir Martin Charteris. Charles at one point remarked that because of the large numbers of cameras apparent on their tour, the national anthem of O Canada could indeed be O Camera. Nora had earlier in the day provided breakfast for some 25 security officers who were on duty for the duration of the visit. She also prepared a delectable coffee cake for the garden party. The whole area was abuzz for several weeks before and after this event. After all, the Queen doesn't come to visit every day. And in this picture, it shows Nora Bailey, Terry Bailey, Kim Bailey, the Queen, Princess Anne, Brian Bailey, Margie Bailey, Reg Haynes, who is a special hired hand, T. Roy Bailey, Prince Philip, Alan Bailey, Jan Bailey, Prince Charles, and Doug Bailey. Here and There by Gladwin Scott. Excerpts from the joint Carberry North Cyprus Langford Council meeting in the Community Hall, March 22nd. Present were Reeve Adrianson, Mayor Stu Olmsted, Councillors Blair, McCallum, Anderson, Muirhead, and CAOs Fraser and Stevenson. Transfer station approved for paint products. Evergreen Environmental received its gasifier to start April the 12th. Evergreen Environmental is a large garbage disposal center located between Nipoi and Minnedosa, which is shared by several municipalities. The gasifier is a unit which causes the garbage to disintegrate and is a space saver. Garbage disposal is a big challenge and will likely get bigger. The community fire ban will stay in place until further notice. The fire hall interior has been painted. The insurance has increased to $91,700, which amounts to $45,850 for each organization. Chairman Rob Van Comer presented information on the 2021 Manitoba Scotties slated for Carberry December 14th to the 19th, with 12 of the top women's rinks in the province competing. In a survey of 25 local committee members, there was an overwhelming positive response. He was adamant that it was essential to have fans. The recreation center showed a 2019 profit of $37,000, and a 2020 loss of $25,000. Each council was asked for $25,000 to balance the books. The Carberry Sandhills Golf and Country Club 2021 executive members as of April the 13th are President Matt Letkeman, Vice President Tyler Unger, Secretary Susie Scott, Clubhouse Albert Naismith, and Kathy Adrianson Clubhouse was Albert and Kathy. Executive members Kelly Murray, Charles Hoffer, Warren Birch, and Mark Bryant. Brent McMillan continues to do the books. The CGBS lottery involves a $40 ticket, which allows one round of golf at Carberry, Glenborough, Boissevain, Souris, and Pleasant Valley, plus a chance to win $50,000. Derek Samagalski is the course superintendent, and Rob Van Comer is the clubhouse manager. Groundskeepers are Josh McMillan, Jim Elliott, and Weston Harder. The course opened Thursday, April the 8th. 6 Santa Clara baseball teams have indicated plans to return for 2021. The annual spring meeting will be held in a couple of weeks. April the 6th, 2021 marked the 3rd anniversary of the tragic Humboldt Broncos bus accident, which killed 16 and injured 13. The city of Humboldt plans to build a $25 million memorial in the next couple of years. April the 7th was Green Shirt Day to focus on Logan Boulay, who became an organ donor 2 weeks prior to the accident, and 6 people are alive today thanks to Logan's organs. And this week's community profile in Carberry is Abby Bird. She's 17 years old and is the daughter of Dave and Sherry and a member of the Carberry Collegiate 2021 graduating class. She has a heavy load this term with biology, applied math, essential math, global issues, band, and jazz band. Abby really enjoys music and plays the flute and the alto saxophone in the jazz band. They have learned to play their instruments with a special face mask and a cover for the end of their horns. The ukulele was also a new challenge. For the past year, she has had a cashier position with Heritage Co-op in Brandon. Following graduation, Abby will move to Winnipeg to commence a 9-month hairdressing course at Avita Institute, one of the best in Canada. People who have had a positive influence on her life include her parents and music teacher Justine Burke. Nipoi Gladstone Co-op reflects on a unique year by Kira Patterson. At their virtual annual general meeting, AGM, on Wednesday, members of the Nipoi Gladstone Co-op had a chance to look back at a year like no other. Despite significant challenges in the supply chain, the local co-op was able to end up on top by the end of the year. The total sales for the year went up by nearly $10 million from 2019. General Manager Brian Headley noted that the first couple of months of 2020 went as they had expected, but when March came around, the pandemic really started to affect people's lives. Fortunately, all 4 sales divisions of the co-op, food, agro, petroleum, and home center, were classified as essential services, which allowed us to remain open, he said in his report. In the food division, both the Nipoi and Gladstone food stores saw an increase in sales. Gladstone food store sales have been flat for several years, but 2020 saw a 27% increase, stated Headley. He added that the store's margin increased and their expenses were below budget due to less repair and maintenance costs. The Nipoi food store saw increased sales in all 4 categories again this past year. The categories are bakery, deli, meat, produce, and groceries. All areas also saw significant improved operating margins, providing a strong profit for the company. Co-op has had plans to expand its home center in Nipoi, but because of the pandemic, they decided to put that on hold. Hedley noted that with vaccines being rolled out, the co-op board has approved the expansion and tenders were sent out early this spring. He added that more details on this expansion will be released once approvals come in. In terms of sales at the home centers, despite a struggle to secure product during the year, sales did not suffer. Both Nipoi and Gladstone sales were up, with Nipoi achieving record sales. Both locations had strong margins, which added to the company's profitability. Chalet Flooring has also proven to be an important addition to the co-op family. Along with home renovations in 2020, we saw increased flooring sales and an excellent year for this department, Hedley stated. One department that did see decrease in this year was the petroleum division. Hedley noted that sales at both bulk fuel locations were down because of lower selling prices. The gas bars also saw decreased sales because the pandemic eliminated a lot of travel. By midsummer, that did start to rebound somewhat as travelers stayed in Canada and spent more time on traveling around the province. Margins remained strong, but could not offset the reduced volumes. Both locations maintained strong expense control, thus providing us with moderate returns. Hedley noted that while the agro division had a tough 2 years in 2018 and 19, this year was much better. Sales in the Nipoi location were up, while Gladstone saw sales drop, mainly because of a larger fall season in 2019. The custom application department achieved record sales in 2020 after a difficult previous year. We found our fall fertilizer season was very successful throughout the trading area, which resulted in increased fertilizer sales that we depend heavily on. Overall, both Hedley and the Board of Directors President Ray Kulbaki agreed that 2020 was a good year. Kulbaki noted that the local co-op's savings totaled $1.07 million, which was supplemented by the Federated Cooperatives Limited for a net savings of $3.4 million in 2020. This is up from $2.1 million in 2019. With the increase, Kulbaki noted that they were able to raise the amount refunded to the membership from $1.4 million in 2019 to $2 million. This included general repayments to all the membership in November, estate payments and cash payments to our overage members. Also, members who moved from our trading area and who have been absent for a period of 1 year were paid their equity. It is the intention of your board to continue the dividend payments and above all, to provide you, the members, with the best of products at a competitive price. Not only do co-ops across Western Canada give back to their members, they are also known for their support of community endeavors. Hedley noted that Co-op Helps, a campaign launched in May last year, distributed $100 co-op gift cards to help those affected by the pandemic, as well as $250,000 to food banks across Western Canada. The Nipoi Gladstone Co-op decided to contribute a second time in December, donating over $10,000 to the food banks in Nipoi and Gladstone for their Christmas hampers. The annual Fuel Good Day in September raised $615,000 at gas bars across Western Canada for local charities. In Gladstone and Nipoi, the money raised went to Gladstone Palliative Care and the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation. Over the past year, the co-op continued to support the local 4-H groups within the trading area. Donations to youth groups such as cadets, nonprofit organizations, etc., continued as well, Kulbaki noted. Local Highland dancers complete exams by Crystal Scott. Medal tests were held on Saturday, April the 10th at Expressive Dance with Crystal Studio in Mendoza. These tests were to be taken the end of November 2020, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, the dancers have spent many months practicing at home by virtually joining Crystal's dance classes. Dancers were allowed back in the studio at 25% capacity on March the 8th and have been working hard to prepare for this day. The examiner was Karen Baird, who joined us virtually from Scotland. She is an examiner with the Scottish Dance Teachers Alliance. 14 of Crystal's Highland dancers competed a total of 57 exams. Some exams include 4 dancers as well as demonstrating technique. Many dancers completed 2 to 6 exams each. There were Highland dance exams, Scottish nationals, Irish jig, sailor's hornpipe, choreographies, and a theory exam. The marking system is as follows. Dance stars up to preliminary receive a pass, pre-bronze up to award 6 receive pass, pass plus, commended, commended plus, and highly commended. Everyone passed their exams, and they will receive certificates and medals in the mail. Crystal is so proud of her dancers as they continue to set goals and strive to keep improving during this difficult time. Here we have a local program focuses on girls' wellness by Kira Patterson. A local club has been helping area girls stay healthy both physically and mentally. The Girls Fit Club is going into its 7th year, providing programming for girls to get active, feel good about themselves, and make friends. Tara McCarty, a clinical resource nurse at the Nipoi Hospital, started up the club through the Nipoi Gymnastics program. It was originally created to help provide additional training for our competitive gymnastics and offered to both males and females, called Fit Club, she said, explaining that at the outset it consisted mainly of high-intensity training for the more serious athletes. Over the years, we have shifted the focus of the class to a more broadened spectrum of fitness, encompassing not only physical, but mental and emotional as well. We have transitioned into an all-girls program and have focused on our young adolescents, McCarty added. The program started with a group of 6 young ladies. Today, we have class sizes as big as 17 and have opened up the ages to welcome ladies as young as 7. She added that while the club meets in Nipoi, some of the girls come in from other communities, with 3 different schools represented in the group. The group meets every Tuesday at the Yellowhead Center. Last week, the club was able to spread the encouragement around to another age group. The girls made bird feeders out of cereal and then went and hung them up outside the windows at Country Meadows Personal Care Home, waving at residents as they went by. McCarty noted that it was great to see the smiles on the residents' faces when they saw their outside visitors. The girls were also very excited to say hello to them all, running from window to wave as they hung their bird feeders. We really took the class outside the box, so to speak, offering a wide range of opportunities that these young ladies may not be subjected to otherwise, McCarty noted. Activities have ranged from yoga to journaling to hikes, Zumba, mother-daughter painting, nutrition, and even boxing. I need to mention as well, as you can see from the wide variety of classes, that it wouldn't have been possible without the amazing, like-minded people in our community that helped work towards the well-being of the young ladies in our community. McCarty wanted to give recognition to community members who have helped teach the Girls Fit Club new things. Katie Martin helped with crafts. Kathy Rowe helped with Zumba. Miles for mental health. Amanda Rails with Apple Nutrition. Lisa McMaster WAMMA Brandon, Derek Pearson Box Fit, Dairy Queen, and Marcia Forg with Country Meadows have all helped the Girls Fit Club do different activities and try new things. The most amazing thing for me as a coach was watching the growth of these ladies in so many different aspects. I wanted excuses turn into motivation, and I can't do that. Turn and saying, I can't do that, turn into, I just did that. She noted that coaching these girls has been one of the most rewarding experiences for her. I think that young adolescents have so many other things that they need to worry about. School, home life, social media, that providing them with an outlet even just once a week is very important, especially if they don't fall into the structured sports world. I feel extremely fortunate to be able to offer this in our community and cannot wait to grow the community in the years to come. That is a fantastic article. Way to go, Tara. The Easter Bunny surprises Nipoi residents. One resident of Yellowhead Manor decided to surprise her neighbors over the Easter weekend. With restrictions limiting family gatherings over Easter, Bernadette Jerome wanted to spread some cheer in a COVID-safe way. Jerome bought Easter treats and packaged them into individual bags, then put the treat bags at each door in the Yellowhead Manor early yesterday morning. She also prepared treats for Kinsman Courts, but was not able to get in that morning, so she arranged a time to deliver them on Wednesday, April the 7th instead. Before heading to Kinsman Courts, Jerome stopped by the Banner and Press office to share treats with the staff and share her story. And here we have Jerome, a resident of Yellowhead Manor in Nipoi, stopping by the Banner and Press office to share some Easter cheer. On Wednesday, April 7th, Banner and Press staff member John Drinkwater greeted her. And here, the last article of the paper is a picture of Susan Schmall, and she was the winner, the lucky winner of the Rotary Restaurant Raffle. The draw took place on Saturday, April the 10th, and she was presented with 5 $50 gift certificates from Brews Brothers Bistro, Neepawa Boston Pizza, Dairy Queen, Roder's Bakery and Pizzeria, and Bamboo Chinese Restaurant. Congratulations, Susan. And that is it for this week's edition of the Nipoi Banner and Press. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.